are removing, actually wearing one row. So she has a bob. You can see she just needs one row for fullness. So we're doing new hair today, and we're going to see how much new hair she needs. We're just going to assess the situation and see how much she has. See, like, this is kind of coming apart here. That's definitely like indication, okay, yeah, these wefts are a little bit older. They'll start to unravel at the top, and that lets us know that this needs to be replaced. This is a custom placement just for her and her bob. So we do this so in situations like this, we will do more of a placement where we do more hair in the front and less hair in the back, because she has like a ton of hair in the back. She doesn't need all of that hair back there. She really just wants the fullness in the front pieces because of her bob. This is actually another good situation to feel like more blonde than her natural hair, and the row will do a lot of that blonding work for her, and she won't have to over highlight her hair. Also wants to keep her hair a tiny bit longer at this appointment. With one row, you're gonna have to cut your natural hair at your tightening appointment because they're just for fullness and not for length. So you will have to trim your hair and just be prepared to trim your own hair at those maintenance appointments, typically. And this time she wants to be a little longer, so that's why we're doing new hair, because her row, if we just tightened it today and kept her natural length, her natural hair would be longer than her row. So we're removing her little beads now. This is what it looks like. There's a little kink in the hair because the hair is actually folded in the bead, and there's some string left behind. You can see we just removed her little strings that were stuck in her hair, and then now I'm just combing out the shed. This is like the natural shed that came out. So that's basically one whole side of her hair. That's the shed that came out on like one whole side. So it's literally so minimal in a row. That's why we like NBR, because it's like such little contact points on your scalp, and every time we can kind of shift those contact points because they are spaced out. So the difference between NBR and maybe another beaded row method is that we're going to use less contact points and we can space them out and shift it around. Some other beaded row methods will have a lot more contact points, a lot more of that going on. And I think some people freak when they see this part, but it's really normal to see this come out. This is like what was stuck with your hair in the beads. Excessive amounts of shed, and also in combination with that redness on the scalp or any type of hair missing. And those are all indications that I look for in my guests when I am removing their rows. If there is, then I go through and I like figure out what's happening. You can see her scalp looks super healthy. There's no redness here. You can even look all the way to the front here. There's no bald spots. There's no damage. It's totally healthy. If everything is done correctly with NBR, it's not going to damage your hair. Okay, so we are doing a full head highlight. We are doing back-to-back foils, and I am working up the head with how the natural hair falls. What that means is I'm taking sections like to mimic her hairline. So I'm kind of working with the round of the head. So what I'll do is I do like a couple foils here, and then I do a couple foils on this side, and then I'll do a couple foils here, and then I just keep working up like that. And I'm foiling with Alpha Parf lightener and 10 volume. Okay, so we have a bunch of foils in. Do you want to show them this side? Yeah, we got all those babies in. We got all these in. I'll show you that placement in a minute. So now, like we're working up in the back, we're just working up in horizontal sections. Emily went through and foiled this whole back, and I'm showing you the last few. So with her, we're really focusing on really skinny seamless slices. This is gonna help her feel super blonde because the little slices laying in this direction are going to act more like sheets. So it's going to create more blonde in her hair. If we were to work like this way or diagonally up, you might not feel as blonde. So she is the client that I like to call the pain in the ass client, where their hair is like super brittle, but it's also kind of dark and it doesn't look super great. So it's super fun when you have to touch up their blondes. My hair is actually pain in the ass hair because you can't just pull it all the way through or put lightener right away on the ends. Why? Because they'll have no hair left. Right, Kaylin?
That's right.
That's right. That's the reason she came to me in the beginning, because her hair was getting fried off like a little piece of toast. So I'll kind of show you what my foiling pattern was on the side. So I did vertical sections, like working along her hairline. I took those foils and I just pivoted all the way up. Is pivoted even a word?
I think so, yeah.
Pivoted?
Pivoted.
We're gonna have to ask Instagram.
We're hairstylists, not English teachers.
And then we did herringboning on the front. So I worked with her hairline. This is another verb that we came up with, is herringboning. So herringboning meaning like herringbone is like the, look at the floor. Show them the floor. See how the wood slats like overlap on each other? We did the same exact thing. So it's super visual. Back and forth, back and forth. I did a few this way, and then I did a few that way, and then I did a few this way. And this way I'm working like with how her hairline is going. The reason why I'm choosing this placement, I choose this placement for someone who has like a side part, because it gets her really blonde. You're working with how her hair is like parting on the side. Okay, so these are our wefts. We've prepped 3 of this color, which is 10N in Isla, natural beaded rose, and then this is a 9 WBL. We're just doing 1 piece. We're gonna mix it in. So she normally wears 3 wefts. We over prepped a couple of just 1 piece, and you can see Emily went through and she did a micro root to the top just to blend anything, and then she did a low light just to blend the root down so it looks super seamless. So once we lay this against her head, it's gonna look so natural and so amazing. Okay, so we rinsed out all of Kaylin's foils. She's here processing. So we rinsed everything. I'm glossing her now. I did a root gloss and then an all over gloss. Emily and I tag teamed that together. She did the back, I did the front. At Kashmir, we do like a simultaneous gloss and tone. And that's like way faster for us. So if you wanna check out that video, I'll link it right now and you can go look at that. And so usually we let this sit for about 5 to 7 minutes and then we'll rinse her. I may do like a little purple shampoo. That's usually what I do on her. And then it's extension time. So this is us just finishing off the end. We call this part the end bead. We're finishing her off. Huh? She's got a start and an end. This is where things start and end. Everything should feel like super, you should expect it to feel super like comfortable and fluid. Like I'm a feeler, so I like to like feel things. Actually, here's my row here, you can see it. I flip my hair over. So I like to, when I'm feeling things, I like it to feel like really comfortable. And I don't like when things are like sticking out or poking or anything like that. Are you vibing to that music?
Yeah.
I can tell you're like loving your life right now. I put on 90s hip hop. It's actually NWA radio. And that feels really good. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to just blow dry all this down and cut it.
We're not cutting.
So we're cutting her bob now. I am just taking a little bit of weight out of the row in the back here before I cut any length for myself. I'm trying to make my job a little bit easier. I don't need a ton of this length. I really only need it in the front. So in this back area, that's why we only did a little bit of hair back here, because I don't want it to feel heavy for her. So my goal in doing this is to be able to basically see my perimeter line once I'm finished there. So when I go through and just cut my line, it's like not a difficult thing for me. You want to like layer and like lighten everything up before you go through and cut your line, because if you go through and cut your line and then you try and like do more afterwards, you're just gonna be cutting for like centuries. You're gonna want to quit. So now I'm gonna go through and just cut my perimeter. She likes her length right now. So this is like where her hair was when she came in. So now we're just matching that line. I'm holding it in my fingers for the first initial, working from side to side, point cutting that, and then I'll drop it and I'll refine in that moment. Okay, so I am trying to just connect Like her hair doesn't connect all the way through here. So I'm just gonna cut a straight line through. I have her turn her head like that so I'm not working on her shoulder. I'm just gonna softly hold in my hands and cut my line. I'm not pulling or creating tension, I'm just cutting my line. Point cutting still. Making sure that I'm cutting like at heart level. That's why I'm sitting on a stool. Because I feel more stable this way and I feel like I can cut at heart level and like keep things really straight. My texture shears and just kind of like connect this tiny little corner here. These texture shears are like super soft. They don't take a lot out. Okay, friends, we're all done and we're curling it now. So this is how we like to curl bobs. We like to curl bobs a little differently because if you do a really loose curl, what you're gonna look like is a White House lady.
President.
The president's wife, the first lady. Because it's just not good. So it's just not cute. It's actually like looks a lot more young and fresh if you do it more beachy and like flat. And I love curling like this because it looks really good for like days on days. Like how long do your curls last you when we, days, right?
A long time.
Like how many days?
Like at least a solid 3 to 4.
Okay, a solid 3 to 4 days and she doesn't have to style her hair. So I'm taking tiny little sections. They're probably 1 inch to 1/2 of an inch. Can you see how much I'm twisting here? I'm twisting it out and I'm creating like a really flat little curl, almost like a rope. You can take as tiny of sections as you want. It's gonna look super good the more you take. So this one is all the way towards the face over here. Like I go way, with these ones towards the face, I go all the way up to the front with those. Because I think it looks better. It doesn't look so like done. I feel like every single wave is alternated in each direction. And I'm still alternating. We're breaking a lot of rules. We normally don't do this type of wave when we're curling like regular, long, classic NBR. But with a bob, all the rules are out the window. That's it. Same color and everything.
Yeah. Is that texture spray?
It's wax spray.
Smells like candy.
So at this point, I don't even feel like she needs anything. Like sometimes I'll add a little bit of texture back in to the row, but you can see how that one row just kind of like filled in. She just barely has like a little bang, but like it filled in all of that. And added a lot more blonde color than she can normally get. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This is the final look. So if you want to know more about Kashmir extensions, just click the link below and it will take you to a little video with more information. And yeah, thanks for watching.
You're good. She walk in the back.